Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sell, trade authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Patek Philippe Nautilus Moon Phases reference 5712-1R-001 in rose gold with a chocolate dial, all rose gold. I will tell you a little bit about the history of the Nautilus, then tell you about where this watch stands in the lineup of other similar Nautiluses, then tell you about the case, bezel, dial, bracelet movement, finally try it on and give you my thoughts. So let's start with the history. The Nautilus came out in 1976. That is almost 50 years old now. It came out 4 years after the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, which was the originator of the luxury sports watch. Gerald Genta created it in 1972, 4 years before the Nautilus. It was not a smash hit at the time, but it did very well. And Patek and AP, since they are their biggest rivals, kind of like maybe BMW and Mercedes, Patek decided they also needed a luxury sports watch. They actually hired the same person, Gerald Genta, to come and design their version of the luxury sports watch, and that became the famous Nautilus, and that's what you see here. So over those years, the Nautilus has had many different variations, a lot of variations in fact, but the same basic premise has stayed the same. It more or less looks the same as it was when Gerald Genta designed it, and it is without doubt, Patek's most famous collection, above that of the Octagonal or any other complications or anything else. It's the watch. It might not be the most loved by you or by yourself, but it is the most recognizable and most desirable one, and the watch that in Patek collection that sells the most above retail. So therefore, I'm going to call it the most desirable one. Although I think other ones are very desirable, definitely the Nautilus is number one when it comes to that. And it might even be the most prestigious sports watch, even above that of Audemars Piguet. Okay, so that's a little bit about the history. Now, I can't go into every little spot, but because this is not a history lesson, but I'll tell you about the next topic, which is where this watch stands in the lineup of other similar Nautiluses. Now, you might be wondering, well, the Nautilus there's many different Nautiluses. In fact, I would like to break it down into 6 categories. Now, they have, I don't know, something like 40 Nautiluses on their website, and you might be wondering, well, how do you break that down? Well, it basically breaks down into 6 categories. The first is date only. The next is the moon phases, which is what you're looking at here. And then the third one is the annual calendar and moon phase, which means it has an annual calendar and a moon phase. The fourth one is a chronograph, just means it calculates elapsed time. The fifth category is a travel time, which is both a chronograph and a GMT or dual time. And the last category is a perpetual calendar. So you can basically break down all their 40 into one of these. Okay, so where does this one fall? Well, this is part of the Moon Phases collection, and this was created in 2006, which actually puts it at the longest standing Nautilus in current production. That means the 5712, since it's now 2025, has been around for 19 years with no change in anything, in appearance, in movement, nothing. Everything's the same, except they have different variations, or many variations for the 5712, but there is no outwardly change in anything. It's still the 5712 that they produced in 2006, which is remarkable because this model year will have had a 19-year run, at least as of 25, and probably will even go on into 2026, which will make it a 20-year run, which will make it probably Patek's longest standing collection, or longest standing model, I should say, with no change. Okay, that's quite remarkable. And the reason is pretty simple, I would think. It's a beautiful design, and they make good money off of it. There's a lot of demand for it. It's an iconic looking watch. So I don't see why Patek would really change it. And there's really not much to change. It's already looks perfect. So what is there to change? Nothing really. So hence they didn't change it. So, okay, now as far as where this watch stands in the lineup, well, this is the absolute top of the 5712. There's nothing higher, at least in terms of money. It has a full rose gold case and bracelet. And there's only one other watch that has a full rose gold bracelet and head, and that's the Travel Time 5990. There's only this one and the Travel Time in their collection. There used to be others like 5711, but those are no longer in production. Okay, so that's where this one stands in the lineup, at the very top. It's, yeah, the very top. Okay, now let's start talking about the watch itself. And let's start with the case. Now the case is 40 millimeters. Now all the Nautiluses are actually 40 millimeters, all the ones that I referred to. However, just because they are all 40 millimeters does not mean that they are equal in size. Take, for example, the Travel Time, which I've done a review on as well, and I know quite well. It is also 40 millimeters. However, it has pushers that make it look much larger, and it has a thicker case. The 5712 that you're looking at here, it's 40 millimeters, but it seems much smaller. Why? Because it does not have any of those extruding pushers on the left and the right side to make it look fatter. And this case is only 8 millimeters thick. The Travel Time, I think, is something like 12 or 13 millimeters thick, which is quite thick. So if you're looking for a very slim, streamlined watch and somewhat small on the smaller side, usually sports watches are between 40 and 44, then this would be it. Of course, granted you have the almost $200,000 it costs to buy this watch, this would definitely be a good fit. It's actually the same dimensions and uses the same case as the date, the old 5711. Now the 5811, which is now the date only, is a little bit bigger at 41. So this, I guess I stand corrected. All of them are not 40. The 5811 is 41 now I think about it. But anyways, the 5712 uses the same case size as the date only one, which is the 5811 or 5711. It's the thin 8 millimeters. And once you start adding complications, such as annual calendar or chronograph, Travel Time, perpetual, actually not the perpetual calendar, those other three I just mentioned, then they all start at least 11 millimeters, 11, 12, 13 millimeters, respectively, from what I just stated earlier. Okay. All right, so anyways, that is the case, and it's all made of rose gold, and it has these beautiful edges, and it's unmistakably a Nautilus. It has a I don't consider this a round case. It's it's not even an octagonal case. It's a Nautilus case. Very beautiful. If you look at the intricacies of the case, they really did a great job in it, and it's quite a bit more intricate than the younger brother, which is the Aquanaut. Not to say the Aquanaut is not beautiful, it's also, but the intricacy and detail on the case on the Nautilus is much more refined than it is on their Aquanaut. Okay, now let's move on to the dial here. They only make rose gold entire watch that you're looking at here with the sunburst brown dial. It kind of looks chocolate to me, but it also, what is interesting about this dial, it is actually a black gradient rim, meaning it is kind of like a smoked brown dial. It's brown in the center and it fades toward black on the edges, which also is a very nice touch if you ask me. It's also horizontally embossed. If you look going horizontal left to right, it has these stripes. That is the case with all the Nautiluses. It gives the Audemars Piguet has little waffles, also known as grand tapisserie dial, which is also very beautiful, but that's AP. Patek had to come up with a textured dial, and they came up with this horizontally embossed dial, which is also very beautiful. And of course, as you could expect, gold applied hour markers and luminescent coating, so you can see it at night. Now, what else is special about this dial is that, it's probably the most special, is that it's asymmetric. You have the moon phase at the bottom right, the date 1 through 31, and then you have the seconds, running seconds on the right hand side, the 60 second, and then you actually have a power reserve at the very top to see how much power reserve is in this watch. And it lends to an asymmetric dial. Some people like it, some people don't like it. But obviously it's done, more people like it than they dislike it, because it has a 20-year run in terms of model year, and it's one of their most, maybe if not their most successful Nautilus. So quite fantastic, actually. Very beautiful design here. Okay, and okay, let's move on here. Let's move on to the bracelet. Okay, now the bracelet is your standard Nautilus bracelet, and you have high polished center links, brushed down the sides, and then a beveled edge that extends down the case through the bracelet. And another notable thing is that the buckle here is the new style buckle. Now, Patek has switched over to this butterfly buckle system. Okay, they call it the lockable adjustment system. It's just like a butterfly buckle. You press it in the center and it pops open. And you can also have a micro adjust here. And what is interesting or good about this one is that first you have the micro adjust that you don't need. Before on the other Nautiluses that didn't have this, that simply had a fold over clasp, you had to either add like a 1.5 link if you were in between sizes, or there was no change in the bracelet. So if your hand got hot or cold, too bad. But now Patek has figured out how to integrate the bracelet so that the bracelet can change its size without using any tools by simply pulling here, which is quite a awesome design feature. And also the buckle looks better than before. So that's what is beneficial about getting this newer buckle. Now, more or less, this buckle came out in 2020 or 21, and since then they are starting to integrate it onto their new Nautiluses. Okay. All right. At any rate, the bracelet is really, it's one of a kind. Anyone who's ever seen it will probably remember it forever, and it's very much like a 70s look, but still, of course, very beautiful. Okay, let's move on to the movement here. Now the movement, like any other Patek movement, is beautifully done. This one is special in that it has a micro rotor, and a micro rotor is beneficial for a few things. One, the most obvious thing is it doesn't take up that space, hence the word micro, and that you can see the movement and admire it without having this big clunking rotor blocking your vision. The movement is the same as it's always been on all the 5712s, which is 240 PS IRM CLU, sorry. And I mean, I don't know what the point of talking about so much about the movement, because you know, the movement beauty speaks for itself. It has a 31 millimeter diameter and many other specs, but the point here being that it's a perfectly done movement. Looks beautiful. I love that it has a micro rotor in it. You can admire the movement. It has the gears that you can see, a beautiful finish, and of course it's every bit of Patek that you would imagine. Okay, now let's move on. I guess that brings us to the end of the video. Let's go ahead and try this watch on my wrist. Now, I am 200 pounds. I'm 6 foot tall, and I have a 7.5 inch wrist. As you can see, this 40 millimeter watch does not look too small on me at all. It's very thin. It's absolutely beautiful. As I told you, there's only two gold Nautiluses, full gold Nautiluses, the travel time 5990 and the one you see here. And you know, take your pick as to which one you'd rather have, or both. If you want to buy them, by the way, at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at jazztime.com. The VD712, it's a fantastic watch. Beautifully done, and it's a total baller watch. If you're wearing an all gold Nautilus, I mean, you know what's up. And if someone else is wearing one, you know he knows what's up. So it's a great looking watch, and there's really nothing else in comparison. I mean, a Royal Oak in all gold, yes, that's good, but a Nautilus, because of the demand and low availability, it brings the Nautilus to another level. It's not that the AP is lesser quality. It's still very, very high quality, if not higher or the same. It's just that Nautilus has such a low quantity of these all rose gold watches that it makes the limiting factor, which is a crucial factor in luxury. Luxury items cannot be commonplace, or they're no longer luxury. So when that happens, it just makes the price, the prestige, everything goes through the roof. And be it that Patek only literally makes two full gold Nautiluses, and they don't make that many of them. That's why the price is nearly double that of AP at almost 200,000, less than 200. We're selling it on the website Jazz Time for like 180K or so, at least as of 2025. But the price is much higher on the Nautiluses than they are on the Royal Oaks, just because of availability. But at any rate, it's a fantastic watch. You'd be very lucky if you can afford one. And if you'd like to buy it, please go to jazztime.com and we'll sell it to you at the lowest price anywhere online.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to Model as seen in video, click on it and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.